Hello everyone, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and today we're going to be making an anniversary card. Now, I came down to my craft room tonight to actually start making Valentine's cards, and as this one started to come together, I thought this will make a perfect anniversary card for somebody I should have already had the card out for. So, I'm going to use several supplies, and you don't have to use all these supplies, but this is just going to make it fun. The first thing I'm going to be using is my Cricut Wildcard cartridge. Now, this is only the second time I've used this cartridge. I won it on a blog hop, or on a different blog a while back, and I just hadn't had time to use it. And I have to say, it's going to take some getting used to. I wanted to make an envelope to go with the card, and I had my card set up, and then even on 12 by 12 paper it was too big for an envelope, so I'm just going to end up putting it in a regular like 5 by 7 envelope. So it does make the envelopes to go with the cards, and I'm going to have to play with it a little bit more, but I'm thinking that maybe you should size your cards off of the envelope size and do a fit to page and then take your card size from that. The other one I made, 5.5 inches, was perfect. This one I couldn't get this particular envelope out of the 5.5. So I don't know, it's just going to take some playing with. But I'm going to use this cartridge, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'm also going to be using this pink organza organdy type ribbon that I got from Gifts International, and I need some needles and some good scissors for that. I also have this Recollections clear craft plastic. It's like transparencies, and I picked this up at Michael's quite a long time ago, and I've only used it a couple times. If you've ever purchased this, you know that it tends to be a little on the pricey side, but this one I found for some reason on clearance, and so I kind of hoard it, but I wanted to use it for this card. And then also from the Recollection, I'm going to be using this red colored from the Jewel Pack from Recollections, and I actually ended up using one piece of this and then part of another piece because it took quite a lot. And then the other thing that I'm going to be using is this designer paper from K & Company, and this is actually a Valentine's stack that I picked up, I think at Joann's or Michael's or somewhere. And I purchased it for Valentine's Day, and this is where this idea for this card started out. And so I'm not making a Valentine with it, but you'll see how that goes in just a minute. Now, these papers are double-sided, and the paper that I chose is this heart paper right here that you see, and this is the back side of it. It's the plaid that you see there, and I'm actually using both sides of that for this card. And then, of course, what card would be complete without a K. Andrew Design art stamp? And I'm using All in the Family. Now, this is a brand new release that's just coming out, and it's available either for pre-order or order. I'm not sure if it's available yet, but it will be coming out soon. And this is a fabulous set of stamps. It's called All in the Family, and it has all sorts of sayings or phrases. It's just like mother, father, sister, brother. You can tack in-law on it. You can tack step on it. You could do like new sister-in-law or something like that. But then it also down here it says best wishes on your, and then we've got happy and anniversary and engagement and baby and home and life and new job. So these are really versatile, and I'm going to be using happy anniversary. So let's get started on our card. Oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you that I'm going to be using is I found this philosophy tag. I forgot I even had these, but I was looking for a heart charm and found this philosophy tag from Tim Holtz that says cherish on it, and I've already run a Tim Holtz jump ring through that because we'll be using that on our card as well. So let's get going on the card. Now, using the Wildcard cartridge, on page 67 there is this heart card, and I cut that at 5.5 inches. And let me start getting these pieces out to show you. This is how it looks, and it's got, let's put this behind it, it cuts out these holes. So I cut that at 5.5 inches, and this is just the normal card feature. And then the back side of this, as I said, has the plaid, and I didn't want all that plaid to show on the back, plus I wanted something to back these holes with. And so I cut again using the blackout feature. I cut it out again using the red paper from Recollections. So that will line the card, something like that. So, but I want to set that aside for now. And then I took the frame. Now the frame is a heart, and you could just do the frame and do something with the holes in it, but I actually chose to use the negative space. This is the negative space of the heart, and I just set the frame aside to use for something. I can probably use it on a Valentine card or something later down the line. And so don't throw away your extra die cuts, but I wanted to use the negative space on that. And then I cut out, again, the card, the normal card feature, and I doubt you can see this very well, but this is where I use the Recollections piece of plastic here. And I am using this. Now I messed up in the way I laid it out, and it started cutting, and I realized I had it laid out wrong, so I stopped the machine really quick. And that's fine, because I don't want the back side of the card. I actually am going to go through right now on the tick marks where you would normally score the card. I am going to trim off the back side because I just want to use this piece for the front. So we'll set those aside, and now we're going to, one other piece that I cut. This is using the icon feature down here, and I'm going to use that somewhere on the inside of the card, and I use the plaid side to cut this out, and I'll just use that in a bit. So I'm going to set those aside, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to stamp our image. Now, Happy Anniversary just barely fit on this heart, but that's okay as long as it fit. I almost thought I was going to have to change it to say something different, but it actually, I made it fit. So I took my Fiskars stamp press and I lined it up, and as you see here, it just barely fits on there. And I'm going to use my Excelsior black ink pad and ink that up. Now this card is a little bit different from what my normal cards, because I don't plan to do any edge inking on this card at all, any distressing or anything like that. So I'm just going to slide down so I can see what I'm doing. And that looks good, so we'll just press that down. And there we have Happy Anniversary. Let me just grab real quick a wipe. I'm pretty particular about cleaning my stamps, and these stamps do clean beautifully. And this is the very first time I've stamped this image, and look how crisp and clean that's stamped. Isn't that, they're just such great stamps. So now we're going to take this, and I'm going to adhere it and just kind of center it right in there, just like that. So what I want to do is I'm just going to use my ATG, and I want it to stick really well. There we go, just like that. So there we have our space coming, and it says Happy Anniversary. Now the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pink ribbon, and I am going to cut a really long piece. I know there'll be some waste, but that's okay. I don't want to cut it too short. And if there's too much, I mean, as long as there's a piece that I can save for a bow or something, I'll just save it to use another time. But I'm actually going to thread that through my needle. And at this point, I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do it off camera just to save a little bit of time. But this is where my clear plastic is going to come in. Now, if you've worked with plastic before, you know anything that's clear, whether it's plastic or vellum, you have to be careful where you put your adhesive. Well, this time I'm not putting adhesive at all. I'm going to start right, I think I'm going to start right on this side over here. I'd originally planned to start there, but I think I changed my mind. I'm going to start right here. And I'm going to just bring that through. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's go through from the top. And I'm going to leave a pretty long tail here because this is where I'm going to use to tie my bow. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go off camera and I'm going to adhere these together by sewing it. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, so we're back, and I just wanted to let you know it didn't take very long to do this. I was really kind of surprised, but I decided I was going to see how long it would take, and so I checked my time, and from start to finish this took me 8 minutes, and that's with tying the bow. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know I'm a horrible bow tire, so I decided to go ahead and do that off camera, and I ran my jump ring through so it says Cherish there. So now we're going to finish up the card, but it's just sewn around just like, well, like we used to do in kindergarten, with, you know, the little animal cards that you would sew with a shoelace, and then they would take it apart and you would sew it again. And it was just simple, in and out sewing. On the back side it looks like this. Now you're actually not going to see the back side because that is the next step. I could just leave it like that, and I thought about it, but I didn't want all this plaid on the back side of it. So let's turn it over, and the next thing I'm going to do is going to adhere my lining over the back. I wanted it to be solid on the inside, so I'm going to adhere that on the back like that. I think before I do that though, I think I'm going to pre-score each of the pages. I just think that's going to be very thick to try to get through if I try to do them separately. So now I know if you've seen a lot of my videos, you know that I kind of altered my Martha Stewart scoreboard. I really like my Martha Stewart scoreboard, but I wanted to be able to line things up a little easier, and so I drew a line down one of them with my Sharpie so that I was always lining things up, because I have a hard time seeing straight sometimes. So I just lined that up on my black line, and this is only for when I'm doing, if I'm doing a card that I can go straight, it's not a problem, but when I'm doing odd shapes, that's when I like to do it the most. Okay, so that's pre-scored there. That's pre-scored there, and we'll set that aside. Now, on the wild card, it does do the tick marks, and so if you don't want the tick marks, I'm sure if you have a Gypsy, or maybe even in the design studio, you could turn those out. I don't mind them in this project. Now, this Recollections paper that I'm using today is actually slightly textured on one side. And I didn't even realize that until I was actually getting ready to do this project. But it is slightly textured on the one side. So I want the textured side to show up, just because I think it's adds a little more interest to it. So I've adhered that down pretty generously. And I want to fold it because I only want to do one side at a time. Because I don't know about you, but I would never get it straight, and I still didn't fold it enough, but it turned out okay. So let's just smash that down just like so, and then grab my bone folder here, turn it upside down, and give it a good crease. Again, I want to smash it really well to make sure we've got a good adhesion on there. There we go. Kind of move that to the side. Now, to finish off the inside, what I'm going to do is, remember I cut out the icon, and I think what I'm going to do, well, maybe I won't use the icon. If I use it, it'll be upside down on that, and I don't really want that. It's just a little bit too big to do it upside down like that, because I don't want it hanging over. I could put it right here, and right around it. I think I will, because I don't necessarily need a really big sentiment on here. I just need, or I don't need to say a whole lot on the card. I just want to wish them a happy anniversary, and I think I can work around that. Now this is a new Zig pen, so bear with me as I get it going. When I do put the names, who it's to and who it's from, I could also do it on the top, and that would look just fine as well. But I will use, I think I will probably use my Signo white pen, just because I like the way that it looks on dark, the jewel tone colors, or on black. It just does such a nice job writing on it, and you can see it. You don't have to try to stretch to read it. Which, totally off topic, but if you've been watching the CHA previews that people have been posting on YouTube, or Tim Holtz actually did a pre-CHA release showing what he was going to release. He is releasing all of the Distress Pad colors except for the seasonals and pens. I am so excited. I can't wait to get some. That is really off the subject, but anyway, I thought you might be interested in that if you hadn't heard that. So here's my card. It says Happy Anniversary, the Tim Holtz Cherish philosophy tag. And then on the inside, we have the little icon, and I use the opposite side of the paper, so it's the plaid, to show up on that. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.